Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Eastern Kentucky's lone Democrat was able to hold on to their seat this election cycle. And Senator Mitch McConnell voiced his approval of Republicans taking control of the Senate.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We are nearing that 5:30 mark this Thursday morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall for a look at your forecast this morning. Now, Megan, you just told me there's 48 days to Christmas, but we're nowhere near those 48-degree temperatures.
No, we are not.
It's not seasonable at all.
Definitely not. We're like well above the average for some places today. I mean, we normally expect that 61-degree mark for this week, and we have some cities today who could see 77 as their high, and yesterday was even warmer for the rest of the area. But let's take a look at WYMT studios. We have those temperatures at 61 degrees, so what's normally the high temperature is what we're experiencing right now this morning. We do have that high humidity, which is why you do see a little bit of fog here in Hazard and across the area. And as we're looking at those high temperatures, there you go. Middlesboro, Jacksboro, and Jonesville are some of those cities that could see that 77-degree mark being hit. So definitely unseasonably warm, not feeling like it's that close to Christmas. But let's take a look at that satellite and radar as we do have some rain in our area. This will continue to move through, and with that leaving us with rain chances, which will hopefully dissipate by the time that 4 to 6 p.m. hour hits, and then tapering off into the overnight hours, leaving Friday nice and dry. And as we look through the next couple of hours, there you can see that slow rise in temperature, not changing much from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Really just a couple of degrees for Hazard, Kentucky, and for a lot of the area as well. We do have those rain chances in the morning. Madison?
All right, Megan, thank you. With the majority of Kentuckians voting Republican during Tuesday's presidential election, and many of those trends translating to the local elections, one Eastern Kentucky Democrat remains in place as a representative in the House. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has a look at the re-elected District 95 state representative.
Ashley Tackett Lafferty became the sole Democrat representing Eastern Kentucky after the 2022 elections and was back on the ballots yesterday against Republican Brandon Spencer, keeping her seat and saying she is just looking forward to continuing her work. The Floyd County attorney has been representing Floyd and part of Pike County since 2019, saying she is devoted to the place she has always called home. Though she remains the only Democrat representing the area in the House, Lafferty previously told WYMT she believes her people support her because she is less interested in party and more interested in progress. This year, Lafferty sponsored or co-sponsored a host of bills in the House, some pushing for more funding for wastewater or infrastructure needs, one devoted to state park improvements, and several different bills related to first responders, from fire department funding to addressing a need for mental health resources on the front line. Lafferty also championed a bill to create a grant database to help organizations get connected with possible resources they may otherwise miss out on, and supported a push to create a Cole County Paramedic Scholarship, among other missions. Lafferty released a statement Tuesday night after winning with more than 10,700 votes, saying, quote, "My public service to you has always been less about politics and more about the people of Eastern Kentucky." Now, Lafferty was unavailable to speak on camera today, saying the work in Frankfort didn't stop because of the election, but she did say she was able to watch those results roll in surrounded by family. And she is grateful for the folks who put their trust in her. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Lafferty's opponent in that race does not agree with the voters. Spencer shared a statement on social media after the results were tallied, saying, quote, "Sometimes we see that votes aren't always cast in the best interest of our area, but based on a perception of access to someone, even someone unable to help our communities. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that's what happened here, and we will continue to suffer because of it," end quote. You can see his full response over on our website, WYMT.com. The battle for state representative in the 95th district was not the only one folks in Floyd and Pike counties were watching this week. Here's a look at a couple of mayor's races, beginning with the one in Prestonsburg. Rick Hughes ended up taking the victory, receiving nearly 850 votes. David Gearhart generated more than 450 votes, while Danny Martin had a little more than 200. And in the race for mayor in Elkhorn City, Nathan Bryant came out on top in that contest. Bryant secured more than 260 votes. Roxanne Blankenship had less than 100 votes, and Janet Adkins had a little more than 50. Pineville Mayor Scott Maiden has secured enough votes to win the 29th District State Senate seat. The Republican beat out 10 other write-in candidates for the spot. We understand Maiden posted on social media yesterday thanking Congressman Hal Rogers for his endorsement, and he congratulated the other candidates on running a good race. The 29th district consists of Bell, Floyd, Harlan, Knott, and Letcher counties. The seat opened up unexpectedly just before the election after the death of Senator Johnny Turner. In the race for Commonwealth's attorney for the 47th Judicial Circuit in Letcher County, Matt Butler defeated former Commonwealth's attorney Edison Banks. Butler generated more than 4,300 votes, while Banks had more than 3,350. Prior to the election, Butler had been appointed to the position by Governor Andy Beshear. And in the race for Commonwealth's attorney in the 41st Judicial Circuit, Haley Jo Fields defeated Jake Roberts. Fields tallied more than 14,800 votes, according to the Secretary of State's website. Roberts tallied nearly 2,500 votes. The 41st Judicial Circuit is composed of Leslie, Clay, and Jackson counties. For the first time in history, a black woman has been elected to Kentucky's Supreme Court. Pamela Goodwine was elected in the 5th District, clinching the win against Kentucky attorney Aaron Izzo Tuesday night. Goodwine will fill the seat that had been occupied by Chief Justice Lawrence Van Meter. Van Meter did not seek re-election. Republican Kentucky State Senate President Robert Stivers spoke at a news conference yesterday. Stivers gave his reaction to the election results as they continue to come in. He says the success of Republican candidates bodes well for Kentucky. Stivers was asked about his reaction to the controversial Amendment 2 being shot down. He said the bill was always intended to be a tool to help disadvantaged communities, but was misunderstood.
People knew it was tough and it was going to be misrepresented, but I don't want to say misrepresented. It's going to be interpreted however they wanted to interpret.
Every Kentucky county voted against Amendment 2. Republicans took back control of the Senate by flipping multiple Democratic-controlled seats and securing a multi-seat majority. Democrats have controlled the Senate for all 4 years of President Biden's term. Republicans controlled the Senate for all of former President Donald Trump's first term. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says there are a few reasons he is particularly happy the chamber will be out of the Democrats' control.
The filibuster will stand. There won't be any new states admitted that give a partisan advantage to the other side. And we'll quit beating up the Supreme Court every time we don't like a decision they make.
McConnell announced last year he is stepping down from leadership. Senate Republicans will vote for their next leader next week. Here is a look at some complaints that were voiced during the general election. In Laurel County, there were several complaints, including 2 involving electioneering and 4 dealing with voting machines. In Pulaski County, there were just 2 on Election Day, but there were as many as 7 in the run-up to the general election. And in Leslie County, there were 3 prior to the general election, but none on Tuesday. It is mid-fall fire season in Kentucky, and the dry conditions we have seen lately have led to several forest fires across the state. While some rain this week has helped, the situation is still concerning. Hillsborough Fire Chief William Thompson says one recent fire happened in Fleming County, where a forest fire burned at least 100 acres on Tuesday. He says the fire was started by someone burning leaves on a windy day.
Quite a bit of buildup in the forest right now. People need to really be cautious about burning anything outdoors, because right now we're getting some precipitation. That makes a big difference.
Firefighters brought that fire under control Tuesday night. While it may not feel like it outside, winter is just around the corner. Kentucky state officials have already laid out their plans for keeping Kentucky roads clear this winter. For the 2023-24 fiscal snow season, the state spent more than $47 million on state and contract equipment, materials, and labor. With a projected change in our global weather pattern from La Nina to El Nino, they're preparing for an increase in cost.
Anytime there is some increases in the salt prices, we plan ahead for that so that we're able to maintain that stockpile and ensure that we have enough snow fighting chemicals and everything on hand for when the winter weather hits.
You will be able to gain some insight into the winter weather season if you head to this story on our website, WYMT.com. When we return, the NFL is promoting flag football ahead of its debut at the 2028 Olympics.
And we have some rain in our forecast for today. I'll tell you the timing coming up.